No, it's been a while, and this is the first time you're seeing my face. Uh, Basically, like I've been trying to do more on YouTube, but life's gotten in the way. I've tried recording a couple more gameplay related things, but then technology got in the way. There's just been a lot of things getting in the way. But with it being the week, like May the 4th, and all of this stuff with Star Wars coming out, like with Andor. I'm not super into Andor, but there was the new animated Tales of the Underworld thing, and I I grew up with Clone Wars and Rebels and all that stuff, and like the Star Wars animated series. So like I really loved that part of Star Wars, but the more that like when they started the whole Tales of the thing a couple years ago, I was super into it. Like Tales of the Jedi with Ahsoka and Dooku. I was like, okay, this is interesting. Kind of getting like more of their stories, like in like outside of what we already knew. Like with Ahsoka, it wasn't that great. Like there was the whole episode of her childhood that really went nowhere. But there was the episode that showed like how Anakin accidentally prepped her for Order 66, and that was kind of neat, but that was about it. But the Dooku stuff was really good. Like like you got to see why he turns, like, and the tragedy behind that. So that was really cool. Like getting more of that, like more of those like sides of the story, like expanding on characters you already knew. So like Tales of the Jedi overall pretty good. Tales of the Empire was that I think it was last year or maybe 2 years ago at this point. Not as good. The I didn't really care about Morgan Elsbeth all that much, especially because like Ahsoka, the show had already come out and she was already we already knew what happened to her. But the that one was mostly carried by the fact that like her episodes were carried by the fact that Grievous and Thrawn were there. Really, like Grievous, like they go back to that episode with the Night Sisters, and he's just like tearing them up, and it's awesome. And like every conversation with Thrawn is amazing. But and then there was the Barra stuff that I remember everyone getting super hyped for, and then they basically did nothing with it. Like, oh yeah, she's an Inquisitor, but then she just stops because like reasons. It's been a while. I don't remember exactly. Basically, she just is like, oh no, we're going too far and everything, and I'm just like, you blew up the Jedi Temple. Why are you getting cold feet now? Like that doesn't make any sense. And also, I'm so sick of people getting stabbed and it not doing anything. Like Barris gets stabbed at the end, and like they leave it ambiguous, but like she's gonna be fine because Disney doesn't kill anyone anymore. But anyway, point is, like I've already like Tales of the Jedi was good, Tales of the Empire kind of wonky, and then Tales of the Underworld came out, and oh my goodness, I'm mad. Like from the beginning, like from back when Bad Batch season 3 suddenly dropped Ventress on me, I was already skeptical. Like, whoa, 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 hold up! I read this book, and she died. Like she was very dead. This wasn't like a like oh, Maul kind of got chopped in half, or well, I mean Sidious, he cloned himself, which is already baloney. Like that whole explanation of Sidious survival is its own thing. But like Ventress, they very clearly established that she was dead. Like if you read the end of this book, they they literally have her like she sacrifices herself for Quinlan Voss, the Jedi that she like falls in love with. It's a whole thing. It's hard to it's a lot. It's complicated. But like they kill her off, like she has her last words and dies and everything, and then they take her to Dathomir, and like they bury her in this like water, like I guess some sort of mystical thing that, and it like accepts her like with the spirits of the other Night Sisters, and it says here at the end, like Obi-Wan and Voss are listening, and it says The Force had reclaimed Dathomir's wayward child, and as Voss reached out in it to send the woman he loved a final farewell, he thought he could make out a single word: sister. Asajj Ventress, at last, had come home. Gone, right? Like, that's it. That's the ending, and it's perfect because this whole book is basically her redemption arc, where she had been in darkness for so long, and then Quinlan Voss just shows up, and like it was part of a plan to kill Dooku that goes south because Revenge of the Sith has to happen, so Dooku can't die. But like her whole thing is like she had lost everything. We know from Clone Wars, like she had once cared for people, but like every person she cared about kept dying, and then she was just left with nothing, and then joined Dooku, who then also abandons her. Like her whole life is garbage, and then Voss shows up, and finally she has someone again, and that brings her back to the light, and it's perfect. And like she sacrifices herself, Voss gets to live. Like finally, someone she cares about survives, and she also kind of saves him from falling down the same path she was going down, because he falls into darkness as they like it's a whole again it's a lot. But like perfect ending. And then this show pops up. And in episode 1, literally as Obi-Wan and Voss are walking out the door, there's suddenly this spirit thing popping up where Ventress suddenly is like awake in the spirit realm, and they're just like, yeah, you can go back. And it's Mother Talzin too, who last I checked was also super dead. Like, I guess she is still kind of dead because she's just stuck in the spirit realm forever, so it's not that bad. But like, Mother Talzin died. Like in the Son of Dathomir comics, Grievous stabs her with 2 lightsabers, and she gets hit with lightning from Sidious and Dooku. She's toast. But I guess her spirit still exists or whatever, the Force. I can kind of live with that, except not really, because that should really only be a Jedi thing. Like, that's what George Lucas established. But again, whole other rant. Basically, they immediately undo her death with like they leave it kind of ambiguous, but like it seems the caveat is she can't go back to Quinlan Voss, like because Mother Talzin says like you sacrifice your heart to go back or whatever, so she can go back as if she never died, except oh no, she can't see that one guy she dated for a few months. Oh no. Like, and then basically the rest of the arc is like the rest of those episodes are just her helping this random Padawan kid out who's fleeing from the Empire, and wacky misadventures ensue as she tries to lead him to the path, which the Kenobi show established was like a thing that the Jedi set up, like a path for Jedi to escape Order 66, which is kind of neat. And they have this tension there because Quinlan Voss is one of the people on the path, and Ventress is like tempted to go back to him, but she can't, which, okay, whatever. Like, I get what they're going for, but it's just like, her ending was so perfect. What is the point? What is the point of this, like, random... And then the kid doesn't even go on the path anyway. He's just like, no, I like hanging out with you. And the story just ends. What kind of ending is that? Like, you undo her perfect ending where she finds the light and sacrifices herself and everything, and then you just plop her back in to help some random kid, and their story just keeps going with no end in sight. It's just not nearly as satisfying. But then we have the Cad Bane stuff, and I'm seeing all these people right now talking about, oh, the Cad Bane episodes, man, they were so good. Like classic Western Star Wars, like the same stuff that Mandalorian is doing. And like Mandalorian is good, but here's the thing with Cad Bane. Don't give him a backstory. Don't don't give him a backstory. Like, Cad Bane is not the kind of villain that you can make sympathetic. Like, like they did sort of with Darth Maul. Like, you know, when we just had Phantom Menace, we didn't have a lot to go off of with Maul. He was mostly just this like pure evil monster, but he was like he barely ever spoke. So when Clone Wars came around, they developed him into a more tragic character. But to me, the reason that works is because he was such a blank slate. Like, he on the surface he looked like just a monster, but since we didn't know anything about him, you could add all of that nuance to him. But that's not the thing. That's the thing about Cad Bane. He is not a blank slate. We had all of Clone Wars where he has tons of character and tons of dialogue, and it is so clear to me that he could not care about anyone other than himself. Like, there is no, like, he has no motivation other than, I want money. And I don't care how I get it. Like, his first chronological appearance, like his first appearance in the show at all, was the like hijacking the Senate. But like chronologically, because the first couple seasons are weird, his first chronological thing he does is raid the Jedi Temple in order to get information so that he can kidnap infants for the Dark Lord of the Sith for a quick buck. He's a monster. So trying to explain, like, oh, he was just this poor little kid who then, like, stumbles on a bounty hunter who, like, gives him a taste of the good life. But, oh no, his other friend gets separated and becomes, like, a good, law-abiding person, and then they have this rivalry and all this. It's, no. That's not what makes Cad Bane interesting. I'm, like, there's been this whole thing lately where we have to make every single villain this nuanced character with like this deep tragedy or some emotional thing. Well, if that's true, why is the Emperor here? Because the Emperor doesn't care about anyone. The Emperor, his whole motivation is unlimited power. Like, and people are like, but it's more realistic that way. Like, it's like pure evil villains aren't realistic. Watch The Dark Knight. Like, The Dark Knight is literally like the whole thing with Joker in that movie is Alfred says some men can't be bought or reasoned with. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Like, that's a real thing. There are people out there who are just monsters for the sake of it. And I'm sick of pretending that isn't a thing. And like adding all of this like tragedy and stuff, it just makes Cad Bane less cool to me. He's way more fun when he just doesn't care. like in season 4 of Clone Wars, when he just casually murders this dude's brother in front of him and like takes his hat. The guy looks at him like, dude, what? He's like, what? It was a nice hat. Like, that's funny. Like, it's super messed up, but it's just way more entertaining to me. So yeah, Tales of the Underworld, not my favorite thing in the world. But hey, Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary, so that's cool. I have Disney Plus, so I didn't go to the theater. I could just watch it whenever. But I've been ranting for the last, I don't know how long I've been recording, but I do love Star Wars. I'm just really annoyed right now with the direction everything's going. Like, I love Dave Filoni and all of the, like, again, like Clone Wars and Rebels were my childhood, but it seems like lately he's just sort of lost the spark, if that makes sense. I think partly it's because George Lucas isn't there anymore, because a lot of what made Clone Wars good was George Lucas overseeing it, but Rebels was able to function without him. But I think it's gotten to a point now where Dave Filoni has done so much, like he already has. It feels like he's out of ideas. Like, did all of this stuff, created all these fun characters, and now he doesn't really know what to do with himself, so he's just recycling them. Maybe that's just me, but yeah. So that's about it.